Hello everyone, hope all of you are doing great. And in today's video, we're going to have a look at the workbook lesson 3.3, which is all about understanding compound percentages. Okay, so the first thing that we actually took during the session is understanding how to find the multiplier. So if I say to increase, that is increase. So the beginning is a spelling mistake. Okay. Increase. If I say to increase, let's say 5%. And if I say to decrease 5%, what is the difference? Here, the multiplier is Mr. Increase 5%, it means 105%. So if you increase 5%, it means you add 5% to 100% because the complete is 100%. Increase 5%, it means 105%. Convert it into a decimal, or you must divide by 100 in order to get the multiplier, so it becomes 1.05. Decrease 5% in order to find the multiplier. I subtract 5 from 100, it gives me 95%. Divided by 100 gives you 0.95, which is the multiplier. All right, so finding the compound percentage or the compound multiplier is what? The compound multiplier, if something increases by 5%, then decreases by 5%, I'm going to multiply 1.05 by 0.95. So the answer of the compound multiplier, if I say to you, a specific item, the price of a specific item increases by 5%, then decreases by 5%, then this means that the compound multiplier is 1.05 multiplied by 0.95. This is going to be the compound multiplier. You multiply them by each other. The answer is what we call the compound percentage or the compound multiplier. Good. So here in the first page, they're just giving you the steps. They're giving you everything until they reach here. Multiplier is 1.15. So 300 increased by 15%. They told you the multiplier is 1.15 because increasing 15%, it means 115%, which is 1.15 for the multiplier. Multiply 300 by the multiplier. It's going to give you the answer over here. You can check the multiplication, the answer of your multiplication from the answer key. I'm just explaining it to you here how to do it. So for example, here 200 increased by 20%. The new percentage is 120% because it's increased by 20. So the multiplier is 1.2. So the new price is going to be $200 multiplied by 1.2. Then you find the answer of the multiplication. Increase by 32%, it becomes 132%, which gives you a multiplier of 1.32. So the 400 increased by 32% means 400 multiplied by 1.32. You multiply them by each other, find the answer in here. Same thing exactly for the decrease. Decreases by 15%. So 100 minus 15 is 85. The multiplier is 0.85. Multiply 300 by 0.85 will give you the new price. 200 decreased by 20%. It means 100 times the minus 20 is 80%. The multiplier is divide by 100 gives you 0.8. So 200 times 0.8 gives you the answer of it gives you the new price when you multiply 200 by 0.8. 400 decreased by 32%. That means what? Decreased, I'm going to do 100 minus 32 is 68%. Divided by 100 will give you 0.68. This is that multiplier. So 400 times 0.68 is going to give you what? The new price over here. Let's do this. Increase by 10%. Okay, increase by 10%, it means 110%. Divide by 100, it's going to give you 1.10, which is actually 1.1. So this is VI, or I'm going to say this is here A. Increase by 40%, it becomes 140%. Divide by 100 is 1.4, which is here, B. Decrease by 25%, it means I'm going to minus 25, so it becomes 75%. Divide by 100 is 0.75. 0.75 is C. Decrease by 5%, it's going to be 95%. Divide by 100 is 0.95. This is D. Increase by 4% is 104%. Divide by 100, 1.04. This is the multiplier. F, decrease by 62%, minus it from 100 is going to give you exactly 38%. Divide by 100 is going to give you exactly 0.38, and this is F, the multiplier of F. You're going to do the same thing exactly over here. But here they are using compound percentages. So for example, $800 increased by 10%. Oh, Mr. 10% means 110%. The multiplier is 1.1. So it is 800 times 1.1, which is going to give me 880. Then you're going to take the 880 and you multiply it by 1.2. Why? Because they said to you then increased by 20%. Increased by 20% means 120%, which is what the multiplier is what? 1.2. So you're going to multiply by 1.2. That's going to give you the answer over here. You're going to find it. I'm not here to do the multiplication with you. I'm here to explain to you the strategies and the techniques and the steps. You can just multiply 880 by 1.2. It's going to give you the answer that is mentioned to you there in the answer key. Good. So 800 decreased by 10%. This means, Mr. 800 times decreased by 10%, it means 90%. Okay, but divided by 100, 0.9. Then decreased by 20%, which is 80%, divided by 100, 0.8. So, Mr., I need to do 800 times 0.9? Yes, let's do it. Mister, we don't actually need even any calculations for this. 9 times 8 is 72, and I got two zeros. I have one decimal place, so it is exactly 720. That's 800 times 0.9. But then I take the 720 and I multiply it by 0.8. Because now I multiplied, yes, 800 by 0.9, which gave me 720, but I still need to multiply the answer, which is 720, by 0.8, which is going to give you here 8 times. Let's ignore the decimal point. It's going to be here 0, 16, 6 carry up the 1, 56 is going to be 57, and I got one digit after the point, so 576. This is how you use the compound percentages. Same thing exactly, you do it here in question C. Same thing exactly in question D. All right. So I'm not going to do with you the answers, but I'm going to do with you the multiplier. Increased by 25%, it means 125%, which is 1.25. The answer that is going to be written here and is going to be written here, you're going to multiply by decreased by 40, which is 60%, 0.6. That's the second multiplier. Here, the first multiplier is 1.05. The second multiplier is decreased by 15 is 0.85, comes from 85%. Work out these compound percentage changes. 200, Okay, so 200 times increased by 10%, 1.1, because it's 110%, but divided by 100 is 1.10, which is just 1.1. Then decreased by 10%, so 0.9. Do the multiplication, find the answer. It is going to be the same as the one in the mark scheme. 200 decreased by 10%, so it is 200 times 0.9 times then increased by 10, which is 1.1. It's 110% divided by 100 is 1.1. It's going to give you exactly the same answer that you had over there in question 1, in question I. So they're going to give you exactly the same answer. Why, Mister? Because the order in multiplication does not change anything. 200 times 1.1 times 0.9 is the same as 200 times 0.9 times 1.1. The order doesn't change anything. All right, so let's do the answers here together. 200 times 1.1 times 0.9 equals 198. It's going to be 198 here, 198 here. 200 increased by 10%, then decreased by 10%, greater than or equal to or less than. 200 decreased by 10%, then increased by 10%. If the same thing is happening, it just the order is different, then they are definitely equal. I got 200, I got 200. Here, 10%, 10%, here, 10%, 10%. But in the first one, the increase happened first, then the decrease happened. Here, the decrease happened first, then the increase happened. Both of them are equal. Without doing any calculations, decide 40 decreased by 30, then increased by 30. 40 increased by 30, then decreased by 30. The same, yeah, Mr. Exactly. 156 increased by 2, then decreased by 2. 156 decreased by 2, then increased by 2. Same thing exactly, Mr. Equal. Raj uses this method to work out 50 increased by 20%, then increased by 10%. He just said 50 times the multiplier of increasing 20% is 1.2. Then increased by 10, the multiplier 110 divided by 100 is 1.1. That's the same method that we do. They just want you to follow the same method. So this one is going to be 60 times increased by 30, 130%, but it's 1.3 times increased by 10, 1.1. Then find the answer. 200 increased by 25. So 200 times increased by 25%, that's 125%. Divided by 100, 1.25. Then increased by 45%. That's 145% divided by 100, 1.45. You just find the answer. Next question here says to you, Mary uses this method to work out 50 increased by 20%, then increased by 10%. What did she do first? She actually found the compound multiplier or the compound percentage. How, mister? She did the increase of 20% times the increase of 10% first. Increase by 20% is 1.2. Increase by 10% is 1.1. So she did 1.2 times 1.1 first, which is 100, which is 1.32. This is the multiplier. This is the compound multiplier. Good? So she did 1.2 times 1.1, 1.32. So, Mister, we need to increase the 50. We didn't do anything about the 50 now. Yes, we're going to do the 50 multiplied by 1.32. 50 times 1.32 is equal to 66. This is Mary's method. They want you to use Mary's method to do the same thing here. No problem, Mister. I'm gonna do increasing by 80%, that is 1.8. Then increasing by 65%, then it's times 1.65. The compound multiplier is, I'm going to use the calculator, 1.8 times 1.65 equals SD 2.97. 2.97. This is what the compound multiplier, so as if now I have to take the 300 and not multiply it by 1.8 and then the answer multiply by 1.65. No, 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 no. I just got one single multiplier right now. Comes from multiplying the new multipliers by each other. So it is going to be 300 times 2.97 equals, it's going to be 300 times 2.97 equals 891, 891. This is the new amount or the new value after the increase. You're going to do exactly the same thing, but in the other question, the second question, which says to you, 40 increased by 16%. And after that, increased by 5%. So I'm going to do the same thing exactly. 40 increased by 16%, that's 1.16, times increased by 5%, that's 1.05, because it's going to be 105 divided by 100 gives you 1.05, which is going to give you the compound multiplier. The compound multiplier over here is 1.16 times 1.05 equals 1.218. 1.218. Then I'm going to take the 40, multiply by the compound percentage or the compound multiplier, 1.218, which is equal to 40 times 1.218 equals 48 and 72 hundredths. Patsy works out the percentage increase of the price of a liter of petrol over 2 weeks. In the first week, the price of a liter of petrol increased by 5%. Increased, 1 second, Mr. Increased, that means 105%, which means 1.05. The second week, that's the first multiplier. The second week, the price of a liter of petrol increased by 2%. That means 1.02. This is the second multiplier. Use Mary's method. They want you to use the compound multiplier. So I'm going to multiply them by each other, which is going to be equal to 1.05 times 1.02 equals 1.071. This is the compound multiplier. Use Mary's method from question 6 to work out the multiplier for the compound percentage change. So it is 1.071. We've done it. All right. At the start of the first week, the price of a liter of petrol was $1.20. $1.20. That was the price. What is the price of a liter of petrol at the end of the second week? Okay, so they want after the 2 weeks, which means that they want after the increase of 5% and after the second increase, which is 2%. So, Mr. I already found the compound percentage over here, which is 1.071. I'm going to just multiply by the two multipliers that I found, the compound here multiplier, 1.071, which is going to be equal to, it's going to give you the new price after the two increases. So 1.20 multiplied by 1.071 equals 1.2852 but they wanted the price, give your answer to the nearest cent. The nearest cent, it means that they want it to the nearest hundredth because we do not have anything more than 99 cents. So the cents after the dollar, we always have only two digits. So it is going to be exactly 1.29. Why am I Mr. 29? Because here the digit after the 8 is strong, so it's going to round it up. So it's going to be exactly 1.29. $1.29. Don't forget the dollar sign. Raj uses this method to work out 50 decreased by 20%. So 50 decreased by 20, it means it will become 80%, which is 0.8. Then decreased by 10%, which is 0.9. He used this method. It gave him 36. They want you to use the same method to find to work out the final value after these compound percentage decreases. The same thing exactly that we did up there, but it is decreases. So it's going to be 80 times the decrease here 40%, so it becomes a 60%, which is 0.6, times the decrease here is 30%, which makes it 70%, which is 0.7. Work out the answer to this, it gives you the new amount or the new value. Here, 600 decreased, so I have 600 times decreased by 75% that will lead to having 25%. 25% of the multiplier is 0.25 times, then decreased by 20% that is going to leave us with 80%, which is 0.8. Multiplying the three numbers by each other will give you the new value. Use the Mary's method. Mary's method, which is just finding the compound percentage, multiplying the two decreases by each other first, then you multiply by the original amount. How, mister? That's the same thing that we did up there. Use Mary's method to work out the final value after these compound percentage decreases. So she found first the multiplier of the decrease, which is 0.85 in this case, decreasing 15%, multiplied by decreased by 25%. We're going to take 100 minus 25 is 75, 75%, which is 0.75. Finding the compound multiplier, and then you multiply it by 90. So let's find here about this value, 0.85 multiplied by 0.75 equals 0.6375. So I take the amount that she wants to decrease twice, which is 200. You multiply it by 0.6375, which is going to give you exactly 200 times 0.6375 equals 127.5. 127.5. You do the same thing exactly over here. Exactly the same thing. I need to do decreased by 10%, the multiplier is 0.9. Multiplied by decreased by 5% is 0.95. Because 5% decrease becomes 95%, so 0.95. This is going to give you the compound multiplier, which is going to be equal to 0.9 times 0.95 equals 0.855. 0.855. From there, I'm going to go to 90 times 0.855, which is equal to, let's find out about the answer, 90 times 0.855, which is equal to 76 9500th. 76 9500th. All right. Definitely, you're not allowed to do the homework in the workbook as we agreed before. You can't do the homework in the copy in the workbook itself. You must do it in your copybook to have enough space. Over here, I do not have this option. I'm using the screen, which is the same as the PDF. So please, you have to be more organized than this. Then you need space in the copybook to do the homework. Marcus buys a new computer, and in the first year, the value of the computer decreases by 25%, which is 0.75. I misread the multiplier. In the second year, the value of the computer decreases by 16%, which is going to become 0.84. This is the multiplier of the second year. Use Mary's method from question 8 to work out the multiplier for the compound percentage change. So for both of them, then you need to do 0.84 times 0.75. Mister, can I do 0.75 first? In the order, the multiplication doesn't actually change anything. It doesn't matter. So no matter what the order is, the answer is going to be the same. Do the multiplication, find out about the answer of this. Marcus pays $840 uh, for this computer. Let's find the answer of question A together because we're going to need it in B. So it is 0.84 multiplied by 0.75, which is going to lead to 0.63. 0.63. So here, this is 0.63. Marcus pays $840 for his computer. What will be the value of his computer after 2 years? So, which means after the two discounts that happened. So it's going to become here 480 times 0.63. 480 times 0.63 equals 302.4. Harper invests $4,000 in a bank account. At the end of each year, the value of 5% of the money in her account is added to her account. So every year it increases by 5%. She works out how much she will have in her account at the end of each year for 5 years. Copy and complete her calculations. Write all amounts corrected to the nearest cent. So she did here after the first year, 4,000 times, the increase is 5%, which is 1.05 is going to be, and it give her this one. All right, the second year, sorry guys about the noise. I'm really sorry about the noise. It's just my child. Uh, the second year, here we got 4,000 multiplied by 1.05, but to the power of 2. Oh, Mr. Why to the power of 2? Yes, because each year it increases by 5%. So if you do it this way, it's going to be 4,000 times 1.5. That's after the, sorry, 1.05 after the first year, 1.05. Then the second year, it's going to be another 1.05. Oh, Mr. 1.05 multiplied by itself is 1.05 squared. Exactly. And after the third year, we're going to have a third 1.05. Mr. 1.05 multiplied by itself 3 times is 1.05, all to the power of 3. Exactly. So after the third year, it is 4,000. The percentage increase or the multiplier is 1.05 each year. So after 3 years, it's going to be times 1.05 to the power of 3. But after the fourth year is going to be 4,000 times 1.05 to the power of 4. After the fifth year is going to be 4,000 times 1.05 to the power of 5. You can use the calculator to find the answer of these questions. A scooter has a value of $1,800. The value of the scooter is predicted to decrease at a steady rate. What's the meaning of steady? It means it's fixed, it doesn't change. Of 12% per year. It decreases 12% per year. So it is going to be 0.88, mister. That's the multiplier. But after 1 year, write a calculation to work out the value of the scooter after 1 year. After 1 year, it is going to become here 4, it is 1,800 times 0.88 to the power of 1. I'm not going to write to the power of 1, it just means nothing. But after the second year, it is going to be 1,800 times 0.88 to the power of 2. After the third year, it's going to be 1,800 times 0.88 to the power of 3. This is the calculation to find the percentage or to find the new value after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Okay, so here in question B, what does the calculation 1,800 times 0.88 to the power of 7 represent? It represents the value of the scooter after 7 years. This is what you're supposed to write. What does the calculation this one represent? It represents the value of the scooter after 12 years. That's what you're supposed to write exactly. Now, show that the value of the scooter first falls below $1,000 after 5 years. Show that the value of the scooter first falls below $1,000 after 5 years. So what am I going to do after 5 years? I'm going to do here 1,800 times 0.88 to the power of 5, which is going to be what? Let's do it on the calculator. 1,800 times 0.88 to the power of, to the power of 5 equals 949.9. So I'm going to say over here 949.9, and they did not request it from you to round your answer or anything. So just you do whatever you want. You can round it to one decimal place. Oh, but it is a price, so it must be two decimal places. Prices must be written in two decimal places. So it is $92. Yes, now I showed them that the price is going to fall under 1,000, which is actually going to be $949 approximately. Write a calculation to work out the value of the scooter after n years. Mister, we already know after any number of years, it's 1,800 multiplied by 0.88 to the power of number of years. If it was 1, I leave it to the power of 1. If it was after 2 years, to the power of 2. After 3 years, to the power of 3. When it was after 12 years, they wrote it to the power of 12. But Mr. They wanted n years, so to the power of n. You leave it this way. 1,800 times 0.88 to the power of n. The last page over here, you just need to find the multiplier of each rectangular card. So here, for example, in the first one, 30% increase, then 25% increase, just multiply 1.3 by 0.75. It will give you one of the oval cards. The second one here is going to be 15% decrease, so it's 0.85 times 132% increase. Okay, this is new. Adding 132% to 100% is going to give me 232%. Divided by 100 is going to be 2.32. So now I'm multiplying 0.85 by 2.32. Okay, not 1.32 because this is an increase. As if they were saying to you 32% increase. We were going to do 32 plus 100, but here it's 132% increase. So it's 132 plus 100. Here you're going to just do 0. I'm going to change the color to avoid confusion. 0.23, here is 1.23 multiplied by 0.9. The answer of this is going to be one of the oval cards. Here, 125% increase is 1.25 multiplied by 76 decrease, so it is 0.24. Here is 0.15 times, because 85% decrease. 120% decrease, it is going to be 2.2. Why, Mr.? I add 120 to 100 is 220. Divided by 100 is 2.2. 62% decrease, so it is going to become 38, so 0.38 times 250% increase added to 100, 350% decrease. 350 divided by 100 is 3.5. You multiply this, it's going to give you the value of one of them. They're saying to you there is one rectangular card left over. One of them doesn't have an answer in the oval cards. Which card is it? It's very easy to find. And if we go over there, 12, question 12. Here you go. They're saying A is with I, B is with V, and C is with I, D is with IV. The only one that is going to have no value or no oval card to be matched with is E, and they're saying it's equal to 0.54 E. E, which is equal to 0.54. It has no oval card. All right, copy and complete these calculations. A 60% increase, then what percent decrease? Multiplier is 0.88. So 600 times 0.88. Okay, so here, Mr. As if they're saying it to you, exactly. 60% increase, it is actually 1.6 because it's 160%. So it is 1.6 times what is going to give you 0.88. That's what they mean. 1.6. Where did you get the 1.6 from, Mr.? Didn't they say it is increase by 60%? So it is 160%, which is 1.6. So 1.6, we're finding right now the compound multiplier. They found it already. So they're telling you 1.6 times what is 0.88. So let's do it. 0.88 divided by 1.6 equals 0.55. So here it is 0.55. That's the second multiplier. It's not 0.55 percent decrease. So it is what percent decrease that gave me multiplier of 0.55? Mister, it is 45% decrease. This requires a lot of concentration. If you try it right now, 45% decrease, it means 100 minus 45, which is 55%, 0.55. Again, how did we find the 0.55? We said 0.6, or let's just try it at the second question. Look at the second question here. Let's do it with a different color. Red. 15% decrease. 15% decrease semester, it means 85%, which is 0.85. Perfect. They're saying it to you times what gives you 0.952. So I'm going to do what? I'm going to do 0.952 divided by 0.85. 0.952 divided by 0.85 equals 1.12 exactly. 1.12. 1.12. So here what I'm going to do, oh, Mr. 1.12, that means an increase. This multiplier comes from an increase. Increase of what percent? 12%, Mr. Increase 12% is the only thing that is going to lead to 1.12 as a multiplier. Exactly. doing here the multiplication here, 0.952. Oh, they're telling you what times 0.952 gives you this amount. That's very easy, mister. I'm going to just take this, divide it by this, and it will give me the missing number. So it is 761.60 divided by 0.952 equals 800. So it is 800. The last one here, let's erase this. The last one here says to you, what percent increase then 24% increase? The multiplier of it is unknown. $400 times the multiplier that is unknown here. Okay, mister, what does that mean? Well, here it means that we need to work backwards. I cannot find this because the multiplier is missing. So if you say to me here, let's write the answer here. If you say to me, what percent increase? I don't know it. The multiplier of this times then 24% increase. I know the multiplier of this. It's 1.24 equals something that is unknown. Too unknown? No, that's not possible, mister. We need to find a solution to this problem. How can I find a solution? Look at the end over here. They told you 400 times something gives you this. I can find this missing number. 719.20 divided by 400 is going to give you this missing number. So I'm going to use a different color for this. Let's make it orange. And let's use the calculator as well. 719 0.20 divided by 400 equals 1.798. 1.798. Okay, then the multiplier is what? 1.798. Okay, now it started to make sense because actually they're saying to me that this number here, the increase that I do not know, multiplied by 1.24, the multiplier here, equals 1.798. Now I can find this. What is the missing number over here? Let's do it. 1.798 divided by 1.24 equals 1.45. So this is 1.45, which is increased by what percent? Yes, 45%. This multiply comes from increase of 45%, gave me the 1.45 as a multiplier. This question is tricky. It just requires a lot of concentration, requires a lot of manipulation as well. Okay, let's continue here with the next question. An amount of money is increased by 8%, then decreased by 15%, then increased by 20%. Write the multiplier for this percentage change. So increased 8% is 1.08 times decreased 15% is 0.85 times increased by 20% is 1.2. This will give you the multiplier for this compound percentage, 1.08 times 0.85 times 1.2 equals 1.1016. Here you go. This is the multiplier for the compound percentage. Good. The amount of money after 3 percentage changes is $2,643.84. So they're telling you after the 3 percentage changes that happened, the amount of money is this. which means what? Which means that that original value, which we do not know, we don't know it. If you multiply it by the three changes, we found that it is 1.1016. It will give you 2, 4, sorry, 264, 264, 3.84. So what is the number? What is the amount? What is the amount that they started with? Work out the original amount. Very easy, mister. We're going to do this divided by this. So it is going to be 2,643.84 divided by 1.1016 equals 2,400, mister. The original amount is 2,400. Repeat this part again. If you feel confused, repeat the answer to this question again and it will start making more sense. Here, this is the last question. They're saying to you here that this answer, this is part of Shang's homework. The question, the multiplier after two percentage changes is 1.2. So there are two percentage changes. Something happened, or an increase, then another increase, or a decrease, then another increase, whatever. There are two percentage changes. When you multiply them by each other, they give you 1.2. Write two different options for this multiplier. Sheng answered it this way. I need to find the two numbers that multiply to give 1.2. Exactly, because actually we agreed two percentage changes. It means one multiplier 1 times multiplier 2, it gave us 1.2. So what are the two numbers that give you 1.2 when you multiply them by each other? The homework was requesting from him any two numbers that you multiply, any two different options. So there are unlimited number of options. Answer, he did this. I need to find the two numbers that multiply to give 1.2. We came up to this, all right, and we understand this. He said 1.6 times 0.75 is 1.2, and 1.5 times 0.8 is 1.2. So 1.6 is actually 60% increase, then 25% decrease, and here 50% increase, then 20% decrease. That's what he did. طب mister هو what can I find about this يعني how can I find these numbers? Just assume anything. Just imagine any number that comes to your mind. Literally any number that comes to your mind. I'm gonna assume, for example, let's say 1.1, which is increase of 10%. Then now I need to do 1.2 divided by 1.1 on the calculator. It will give me the other percentage. So the first one, use your imagination to get whatever you want. Use your imagination literally. So no problem at all. So I used here 1.1. My imagination chose this. 1.2 divided by 1.1 equals 1.09 and a lot of 09s. So I'm going to write over here 1.09, which is an increase of 9%. This is an increase of 9%. This is increase of 10% and increase of 9%. So someone else might choose a different number. So let's talk about the other one over here, 0.6. So they wanted to use two different options for each of these multipliers. 0.6 here is going to be what? I'm going to use, for example, I need two numbers that when I multiply, they give me 0.6. So what are we supposed to do? Well, I have to use, let's say 0.3, and here I can use what? Well, if you're going to use here 0.3, then you have to use here 2, which means decrease 70%, increase 100%. For it to be 200 divided by 100 is 2. So you can say here, increase of a decrease of 70%, increase of 100%. But Mr., are there any other options that I can choose? Definitely you can say 0.4 times what will give you 0.6. Let's see on the calculator. 0.6 divided by 0.4. Any number that comes into your imagination. So 0.6 divided by 0.4 gives you 1.5. So this is 0.4, this is 1.5. Now, what happened is that a decrease of 60%, increase of 50%. The last one over here, 1.5. I want the two numbers that when you multiply, they give you 1.5. Here you go. Gives me 1.5. So I'm going to choose, let's say, 0.75, which is a decrease of 25%. Then I need to divide to see about the other number. Yeah, mister, where did you get the 0.75 from? My imagination. Imagine any number that comes to your mind. 1.5 divided by 0.75 equals 2 again. So here, this means decrease of 25%, increase of 100%.